Welcome to this bonus episode of Occult Awareness, the podcast uncovering the hidden truth of rare medical conditions. I'm your host, Amy. Last episode, we talked a lot in depth of his medical journey, his insights in the healthcare system. After turning off the camera, we had a very short conversation, but continues on the topic of healthcare. I felt the need to share them due to the importance of some points that he made. So let's dive into the enlightening bonus episode of Occult Awareness.
Years ago, even though I never had cancer, I was fascinated by I don't like to use the word alternative anymore, but alternative or complementary treatments for cancer. Not only complementary by saying, oh, drink this, drink these Chinese herbs and you'll be cured of cancer, or do this other treatment and you'll be cured of cancer, even though there are some of those out there. But even treatments within the medical field by scientists, and we're supposed to trust science. Well, even treatments by science somehow have gone by the wayside, and I question sometimes. Well, why is that? Is it because they didn't work, or also is it because there's no financial gain? And not to get into conspiracy theories, but again, the medical field is a for-profit system. Whether it's run by the government, as in whatever they call it, what is the term being used now? Or it's a private system like the one we have now, single-payer system or a private system. So yeah, even looking at health issues and the research, I think that's what we were talking about, looking at the research. Who's doing the research? What's the research focusing on?
Yeah. It's not really holistic.
I don't believe it is. At times, and who's, well, again, I don't want to get into like who's funding the research. Of course, we can question that. But now they're looking at vaccines for treating cancer. Again, I'm not against vaccines, but I think they have their limitations like anything else. But sometimes we just need to look at things differently. But unfortunately, within the medical field, if it's not making money, it
Fits the code.
Fits the code, but also I'm maybe I just need to say it again. If it's not making money, we can't do it.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, literally, if you think about it.
And then it's all.
It's got to make money.
Yeah.
Otherwise. At the end of the day, it has to make money.
That's the problem.
I mean, I'll say this. This is an interesting story. So, 30-some years ago, before I came to Environmental Health Center, and I came to the Environmental Health Center in 92, I called a clinic in Mexico and was still deciding where to go for more treatment. So I called a clinic in Mexico. I have no idea who I spoke to. And then I decided for some reason to go to Texas to the Environmental Health Center. I didn't know what they were going to do and how they were going to help me. I had no idea that Dr. Ray would eventually suggest colon surgery and that would save my life. But so I called this clinic in Mexico, and this person I spoke to said that they were having amazing results, regenerating organs, all these things. I was like, regenerating organs? In my mind, I was like, I by that point, I had done some crazy treatments that...
Yeah, we have like nowhere to really get treatment over here, like in a traditional sense.
Right. Yeah, and I had done a few things that I wouldn't suggest, at least one specific one. But so I'm hearing this regenerating organs and amazing results, and I'm thinking, this sounds too good to be true. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe there's something to it. Well, long story short, I decided not to go to Mexico. But here's what I realized years later, because at the time I didn't know. I didn't have the background. What he was talking about was stem cell therapy.
Well, yeah.
Stem cell therapy. We all know about stem cell therapy now, and I'm interested and curious what most people think of stem cell therapy. Some people will think, oh, stem cell therapy, that involves fetal tissue. Yeah, there was that whole controversy with former President George Bush Jr., where many groups were opposed to stem cell therapy from that standpoint alone. We don't want to do anything that involves fetal tissue. Well, nowadays they don't need fetal tissue. They can get it from your bone, or they can get it from your fat tissue.
Yeah.
Then they grow it in the lab, and then they inject it either into your joints or systemically, so it goes through your whole body.
Yeah.
Well, they're still doing it in India, in Mexico, in Costa Rica, in Belize, and probably in other countries. And you can still find some places doing it in the United States for a lot of money, but it's not readily available.
Human trial.
So, I mean, some of it is trial, but some of it is also, I think it's more than that. I think it could be a lot cheaper than it is. I think it could be a lot more available to people than it is. And I think there's some professionals or some professional organizations that feel threatened by it.
Because they couldn't make money if it works.
Right. Yeah, basically. So again, I don't want to go down that road too far in terms of conspiracy theories, but if tomorrow they found a treatment for cancer that only cost $5.
Yeah. Why do we need those cancer treatment facilities?
Yeah, that would be a problem.
They will go out of business unless it's government funded.
Right. So, yeah, what would they all do? What would all those doctors and pharmaceutical companies and imaging machines and all of these things, where would they all go? So, I mean, it's something that, again, I think needs to be discussed, not in a conspiracy theory way, but unfortunately that's where it sometimes goes. And that's where we started this conversation was, look what happened during COVID. Some people were opposed to the vaccine. Most weren't. But unfortunately, you can't even discuss that now because you're labeled something. But I had friends on Facebook, putting memes saying science, science, and with a big bold fist in the air, as if we're supposed to just trust science because science in the end it's statistically proven and we know. But it isn't as simple. We know that with FND and these specialists, science has failed us. And we know that it isn't just about science, and it isn't just about research, and it isn't just about helping people. It is a business.
Yeah.
And you have pharmaceutical companies that need to be paid. You have insurance companies that seem to be up there with the pharmaceutical companies in terms of the amount of money they're making these days. You have companies that produce imaging and systems and all of these other things that also, it's a huge system.
Yeah. This is too huge to seem like moving. But yeah, but it's good to talk about it because I mean, even if we can't change anything, at least we know that what we are fighting against, or like we're trying to make something different.
And you can't fight against it in a way. You're going to cut off your own foot.
Yeah.
You can't fight against it. I think many times since the time I was sick, many times supplements were threatened to be taken out of health food stores and out of pharmacies like CVS and Walgreens. Many times. I don't know who was involved, but it was about money. It wasn't about the safety of people like you and me.
Yeah.
Every year, people die of Tylenol. Tylenol is still available to anybody by going into CVS.
Yes.
So why do they feel so threatened by vitamin C? That they have to take all supplements off the market. Many times it was threatened, but it's never happened. And it's only not happened because people pushed and fought against it and wouldn't allow it to happen.
Yeah. I don't want to allow that happen with our poor brainstem, Yeah, because I mean it is a hidden spot that no one really get funded for research, and I feel like these people. That's why we have another name called orphan disease.
What is it called?
Orphan.
Orphan?
Yes. It's called orphan disease. It's
But
basically a group of diseases that the doctors didn't really want to treat, and then you really end up with no care, and you really end up with like nothing, like people just waiting.
How do you spell orphan?
Just like
like the orphan.
orphanage.
Oh, okay, orphanage. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not an acronym for something.
It's not acronym. It's a group of disease that it's describing for people who actually don't get good care.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Unfortunately, we are those cases, because even people knows that going to my surgeon's office, they might get treated, might get consult and clear picture. But how much can you pay? And can you even travel? That's all the questions that these people have, and they end up, some of them, homeless or.
Yeah, no, I knew people that came to the clinic that ended up homeless because their families gave up on them and doctors had given up on them, and they spent their life savings on trying to get treatments and yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of those diseases. And there are actually good conservative treatment of injections. They inject those sugar water and let regrow the ligaments faster.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people fail. A lot of people fail. So what's the next step, right?
Well, that's just like with stem cell therapy. I mean, I'm by no means saying it's going to cure everybody's problem, but I think it has huge potential for certain problems, and unfortunately, it's just not available.
Yeah.
I know, and this is a name that a lot of people will know, Mel Gibson, the famous actor Mel Gibson. There's a YouTube video, if it's still on YouTube, of where Mel Gibson basically carried his father into a clinic in Costa Rica because he has the money to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
His father, at that time, all his organs were failing by then, and he carried him into the clinic for stem cell treatment. I think they were there for about 2 weeks. He said when they were leaving, his father was basically skipping and dancing out of the clinic. Now, does that always happen? No. And he lived for another, I don't remember how many years, a couple of years after that. So it extended his life, and he got some quality of life. not just quantity, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I know for certain conditions, for certain issues, it can be a miracle in some cases.
Yeah.
But again, availability.
And you said it doesn't happen to everyone.
Well, no. I actually had a client whose wife had severe fibromyalgia, and they went to Costa Rica for stem cell treatment, and she did not benefit from it. I don't know why. Again, I don't know I don't know what the correct term would be. I don't know enough about her medical profile to understand her particular fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
I know if I had the money to go to Costa Rica to do stem cell therapy now, I would do it.
Would that cure your colon issue?
Well, my colon issues are fine, but
Yeah.
it might help with all the inflammation and other issues that I still have. At least it'd be worth a try, but I can't afford to do that. But for whatever reason, it didn't do anything to help her. So again, I've heard it helping people with Lyme disease. I've heard it helping people with multiple sclerosis. I've heard it helping people with a lot of different health issues because, again, of the potential of cell regeneration. But again, everybody's different.
This is, yeah. I know my surgeon is involved in the stem cell.
Stem cell, yeah.
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 And it's because there is a potential of market money.
Well, there is. I mean, there's money. I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, most things, cost money. I mean, there's very few things that I know of that can be helpful. I mean, vitamin C IVs, but they can help with inflammation, but they're not going to cure you of anything, but they can certainly help. But nobody even knows about vitamin C IVs. You're looking at me like you've never.
No, like I just thought like all these things that it can really help, but one is not available.
Yeah,
It's too expensive.
Sure, it's either not available or too expensive. Yeah.
And the other thing is that a lot of people going there for expectation probably.
Yeah, sure.
And without succeeding it, that really beats them down mentally, physically.
Sure. It's not going to be. I mean, and I faced that many times in the years I was looking for health, or I was looking for answers, where I would try different treatments, and either nothing happened, or in some cases I felt worse afterwards. That's never a good never a good feeling. But yeah.
Yeah, so will we try? And I feel like the good answer is what you said at the end, accepting.
Mm-hmm.
And I see so many people that end up with just live your life as it is, what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was great answer to many of these issues. And I think that, I thank you so much for brought up those things, because I think that we need to think about how this is all about, unfortunately, all about money. And if we can actually giving them more care, more help, I think that would just be so much better, at least for some people's quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this insightful short episode of Occult Awareness with Mark Mechalika again. We hope his expertise have provided valuable perspectives on the complexity of living with or treating occult medical conditions. If you or someone you know is navigating similar challenges, remember that support and understanding are out there. Our podcasts aim to offer hope and understanding, share knowledge for bridging the gap between patients and the broader medical community. Don't forget to subscribe to Occult Awareness for more powerful stories and expert discussions. I'm finally done with traveling for a while, so we will get back on track for the following episodes with more stories about occult conditions. Please share this episode to help raise awareness and foster a more compassionate and informed society. Until next time, stay strong and stay informed.